Hey, down here. Hi, how you guys doing today? Glad you got to see me one last time. I usually start these off with a joke. I can't think of any really cutesy-wootsy jokes, but I do have one for you, and I think it kind of plays into the last couple of topics we've gone over. So this lawyer is driving through the country, and instead of stopping at a stop sign, he just kind of slows down just a bit and rolls on through it. And he gets pulled over by a local law enforcement officer. And the law enforcement officer says, I pulled you over because you didn't stop at that stop sign back there. To which the lawyer thinks to himself, I'm a big shot lawyer. This guy's some backcountry, cop. I can handle this. So law enforcement goes, Officer, I'll tell you what. If you can demonstrate to me a legitimate difference between slow down and stop, I will happily take my ticket and, give you no grief over it. However, if you can't, you have to let me away with just a warning and not write me a ticket. So the cop stops and thinks, says, all right, I'll need you to step out of the car for just a second. So the lawyer says, okay, he steps out of the car. The cop pulls out his baton and starts beating on the lawyer, and he's beating on, just hitting him, wailing on him. And the cop says, so do you want me to slow down or stop? So there's my intro joke for this posting. We're supposed to talk about three of our, favored lessons, three lessons that we took most away from. I would say, first off, would have to be learning about both absolute and qualified immunity. These were very interesting topics for us to learn about. I think they have a benefit, not only academically speaking for the class, but in general, because there's a lot of times where we see a political figure or a law enforcement figure or someone of that nature who gets found out that they conducted themselves in a manner that we may not perceive as being appropriate, but then nothing happens. And having an understanding of both absolute and qualified immunity can actually shed some light onto why that occurs. And so I think it was quite a good thing. Apparently my daughter's going to say hi real quick. Elizabeth, say hi.
Hi.
Okay, Daddy's doing homework, okay? So why don't you go play, okay?
Have a picture.
No, I'm taking a video. Go play. Daddy's got to do his homework, okay? This is not, it's fun for Daddy, but it's not fun time for Daddy. It's homework time, okay? There you go. Now it's adjusted a little bit. So anyhow, having an understanding about why sometimes these people who we think are getting away with something that they've done are, getting away with it is, I think, a good thing. It at least can, whether we like it or not, it can make us feel a little bit better about the situation overall. The next thing that comes to mind that I think I had a good takeaway from is actually having just a general understanding of the codification of, legislation. We always talk about things like the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare as it's more affectionately known, or the right to privacy and, different acts and different, the common names for these pieces of legislation. But knowing that they actually have a codified standing somewhere is, I think, an amazing thing as well. We can, actually go find more information about these things and find out, if we wanted to write up some kind of legal, letter or something to that nature, we can actually do that and have it appear to be a little more formal than it would otherwise. The last thing that I think I am happy to take away from this class is not specific to one topic necessarily. It's specific to the class as a whole. We have been given the necessary tools, the requisite tools to understand how to interact with our, local, state and federal governments. We can, after taking this class, this isn't something that's just beneficial for us, not even just in an academic setting, but this would be beneficial for every citizen of the United States. I mean, the general information of how to approach the government, how to interact with them, understanding how they are going to perform the services that they do if and when we interact with them, I think is something that should probably be taught in the required education system, the K through 12 system, probably in high school, of course, and along with it was called civics class when I was in high school, but I don't know what it's called now. So probably along in civics class or whatever government class there is, there should be more in-depth information about this. How to not just how-tos, but how-tos in terms of approaching the government, as well as the responses that you can expect, both the responses that you're probably going to like and the responses that you're not going to like. Just the general understanding of, well, if you go into this procedure with this body of government, this is going to be how they, examine the situation and how they come up with an answer, regardless of what that answer is. The FOIA, which was the most recent thing we looked at, I suppose, is a good example. I've never had any need to, submit a Freedom of Information Act request, but I don't think it's a bad thing for someone to have in their knowledge base. I think it would be amazing if everybody could walk away from their primary education with probably not as in-depth and deep of scope as what we went into for this class, but at least, lighter overview of the topics we covered in this class. We went over a lot of things when I was in civics or government or whatever you want to call it from high school. We went over the Constitution, we went over the Bill of Rights, we went over the Declaration of Independence, and the general overlay of the separation of powers. But the more finer minutia was never looked at. And I think that would be something that would be great for everybody to have a better handle on. At least everybody who is either a citizen of this country, or B, someone who maybe isn't a citizen but has reason to be interacting with the government institutions in this country. Yeah, that's about all I have. It's been a very interesting quarter. Dr. Van Wart, on a personal note, I want to say I think you're doing a fantastic job with this course. If I was going to give you one recommendation only, it would be to take your lecture presentations and put them on YouTube. There are those of us who would prefer to watch those things in double speed or 1.5 speed to get through them a little quicker, but that's mostly coming out of a personal preference. To my group, you guys have been very enjoyable. The discussions have been wonderful, and I'm really, really glad that I had the experience of this course. So anyhow, have a good day, have a good weekend, have a good summer. Good luck on all your finals. Bye-bye.